This episode is proudly supported by the new Capital Food Market Canberra, where you can explore the very best producers, artisans, fresh food providores and hospitality venues of the region. Here's Bede Wright from Market Meats.
It looks great. Everything is looking so high end. And I think everybody that I've spoken to in the markets that has a stall, that's what we want. We've always had this vision of how our business should be and the kind of operation we want, the kind of clientele we want. And I think finally the two sides of that are going to mesh. And it's just a really inviting place.
For more information, go to capitalfoodmarket.com.au or visit the markets and feed your curiosity.
You know, even talking to a few people and they talk to others about the cheese store, just the community in Canberra, they're just finding out about it and it's just amazing.
This is the Deep in the Weeds podcast. I'm Anthony Huckstep. Cheese has its origins that predate recorded history. It is one of the great culinary creations. And there's an old saying, if you have cheese, you have a meal. But what does it take to run a great cheese shop? Kaitlyn Towner is the co-owner of Cheeserie at the brand new Capital Food Market in Canberra. Kaitlyn, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. It's great to get you on the show. You're part of an exciting new development in Canberra. How are things going?
Yeah, really good. We're having a few challenges at the moment, but everything's on the way. Our fit out has started, which is excellent. So hopefully getting ready to open in a few weeks.
Well, it's opening very soon, and you're opening Cheeserie, the cheese shop that'll be at the markets. Tell us a bit about what you're doing.
So we're focusing on Australian and a few great international cheeses, but we're sort of leaning more towards the premium side of things, having that Canberra doesn't supply. And then we're going to look at local wines and then obviously toasties as well to showcase some of the cheeses.
Well, it's you're in partnership with the guys that have Melted down in South Canberra. Is the toasted sandwiches that we see there something that we're going to see at the markets, or will it be a bit different?
Some of them will be similar, but we're going to sort of showcase some of the cheeses more in our store, but very similar, so expect good things.
You mentioned wanting to showcase great Australian cheeses. Is there one or two that really stand out for you that will be there that you can tell us a bit about?
Yeah, so personally I really enjoy the Pakora Dairy Bloomy and the Holy Goat as well. So those are my two that are definitely going in, and then a few international. So we went up to Sydney to do a little Comté tasting a couple of weeks ago. So very excited to have them in the store as well.
What is it about those Australian cheeses that you mentioned? Tell us a bit about them and the flavours and why you love them.
Yeah, so the Bloomy is just super. Both of them are super creamy. So much flavour has been put into them. They're very exciting and super delicious for everyone.
It's Capital Food Market's a huge development in the north of Canberra. What is it about Canberra's market culture? It seems so mature. What's your thoughts about the market culture here?
Yeah, I think the market culture that's expanding in Canberra, especially in the Belconnen area. Belconnen doesn't have that sort of thing at the moment, and it never really did. So introducing those new exciting stores into the area, I think will entice more people to come to the area, which is great, and hopefully we can experience that as well.
What are you excited about in regards to the sort of the market and what you'll be doing?
I think it's just more, I've always loved hospitality and working in hospitality and obviously cheese and wine and how it all comes together. So very excited to just open and learn what people enjoy. I love talking to people about what they want and working out how I can accommodate them. So being able to have a conversation with them and just see what they like and see what I compare cheese and wine with, and
It sounds amazing. Well, I want to sort of explore what you're doing there in a bit of detail a bit later on, but take us back to when you were young. Whereabouts did you grow up and what sort of role did food play?
Yeah, so I've grown up in Canberra my whole life, but I think my love of food really came from my family. So mum was always in the kitchen. We were always cooking, always had heaps of cookbooks, and then we would always go down to the coast as well, and I would go fishing with my dad, and we'd catch fresh fish and bring it home and cook it. So, like, it all was really good. And, I mean, it wasn't that sort of fine dining that I've been introduced into, but it's a different sort of home cooking, you know.
Is there any dishes or feasts that you remember from when you were young that you can share with us?
I mean, I didn't really, like, I was thinking about it, but I don't really have, we never really had a specific dish that we had at home. It was just more a variety of things. We like trying new things, and yeah.
When did you first sort of start to get interested in food and start a career in food?
So in year 7, actually, I did food tech and hospitality all through year 7 and into year 12. So my whole high school life. So yeah, I went to Maritchi College, and they have a fantastic commercial kitchen, and they also have a restaurant that's run by students every couple of weeks. So you get to be introduced into that sort of commercial kitchen life, and how it's run. And then I think that's where my career started. And, my food tech teacher and hospitality teacher always pushed me, and she's like, oh, I think you should sort of move into that career. So then I started a school-based apprenticeship in year 10 at Pod Food in Pialago.
Ah, do you have any stories of what it was like working at Pod Food?
Yeah, so at the restaurant in the school, so half of us would do cooking in the kitchen, and then half of us would do, the floor side of things. So you get to introduce a bit of both. So, I mean, I really like both, but I really enjoyed being in the kitchen. But now I think coming into the Cheeserie, I'm going to be more customer facing, so which I really enjoy as well. So I think it's a good mix of things.
You spent a few years at the boathouse as well. What was it like there?
It was really great. I ended up becoming the sous chef of the boathouse in my last few years, which is fantastic. So I moved over from Pod to the boathouse, and just learning about just a different way of doing things. I went to CIT to do my commercial cooking certificate, and it's just very different. It's very old school, and now we're moving into, the new equipment and technology that we have nowadays is so different to what I was learning at CIT, and it was only a few years ago. So imagine what it's going to be in like 10 years.
We've had the owner, John, on the program before. What was he like to work with?
He's amazing. He's probably one of the people that influenced me the most in my career, because he helped me, and I don't think I would be where I am at the moment without his knowledge and helping me through my career.
What did you take from your time at the boathouse?
I think, learning how to pair really different foods together, you wouldn't expect it, and just how a restaurant is to be run. It's working at the boathouse gives you a big understanding of, you have so many different things going on. So you have conferencing, and you have events and weddings, and then you have restaurant as well, and lunch and dinner. And it's, trying to juggle it all and make sure you're producing the best quality dishes that you can.
You stepped away from the kitchen for a period of time, but stayed within the realms of hospitality. Why did you make that move?
So it's actually kind of a bit of a sad story why I changed up a bit. So I actually got carpal tunnel. Yeah. So I had to have surgery on my hand, which is my dominant hand, which is a bit upsetting. So I was told that, my career was at the end and I couldn't really do it anymore, which was quite devastating to me because this was my dream career. So I was quite upset, but I knew I had to go on with life. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. This is what you've been told. So I just had to pick up the pieces and work out what else I wanted to do. I knew I still wanted to stay in hospitality. Wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. So I ended up getting a job at a hotel in Canberra as a receptionist for my uni degree. And then I actually moved into their events department, which is very exciting as well. So learning another aspect of hospitality, and then now moving into the cheese store.
What did you take from your experiences sort of in that events and reservations area of hospitality compared to the kitchen?
Yeah, very different. But because you're sort of seeing the other aspect of helping people organise their events, whereas in the kitchen, I was producing the stuff that they had ordered. So very different. And it was really good being able to understand that side of things and seeing how it all works and comes together, because there's a lot of work that goes into planning an event, especially, just being by yourself. Like, I mean, I had my manager beside me, but, there's so much that goes into it, and helping people get their vision out into the event it's amazing, but it's a lot of work.
As I sort of mentioned near the top of the show, the two Alexes have melted in South Canberra. Yeah. How did you sort of team up with them to bring the Cheeserie to the Capital Food Market?
Yeah, so I've known Alex Royds for a very long time. Well, since Pod Food. So when I was in year 10, so about 16. So quite a while now, and we've just had a great friendship. And then they were approached to do the markets, and then they were like, do you want to join? And I was like, yeah, that'd be so much fun. I love cheese, love wine, love toasties. Let's do it.
How does it feel for you, although you're not on
really
the pans
great.
as such?
I think opening this store is, I've always wanted to open some sort of restaurant or something in the hospitality industry. So being able to do that with two people who already have experience in the industry and have an amazing business already, it really helps.
Not many people get the chance to sort of design their own store and sort of bring it to life. What's that sort of creative side been like for you?
I mean, I've always been sort of a creative person, but designing a store is a whole different level. Like, you want to create something that, everyone's going to love, but you also have to love it as well. And then both the Alexes have a different style at Melted. So we also wanted to bring an aspect of that in, but also have our own little twist on it. So we wanted to be on that premium side, but bring in their side as well. So, it's been quite difficult, but I think we've got there, and I think it's starting to look really good, which I'm very excited about.
Tell us a little bit about, you said the toasted sandwiches would be a little bit different. Are you going to sort of work with the other tenants and artisans in order to sort of build these creations? Yeah,
I'm quite excited to work with the other tenants to, cheese goes with a lot of things, and people want that sort of stuff. And being in one venue where you can just shop for it all and go home is great. And that's what I want in life, is to be able to go, I want cheese, I want wine, I want some bread, some fruit, and then off I go. I don't want to go to heaps of different stores and waste time. So having the Capital Food Markets there with everything, it's just really great.
Well, it's not long now, and as you know, the cheese shops are thin on the ground in Canberra, so everyone is eagerly anticipating the opening of the Cheeserie. What's it going to feel like when you open the doors?
Oh, it's going to feel great. I think, even talking to a few people, and they talk to others about the cheese store, just the community in Canberra, they're just finding out about it, and it's just amazing. Like, somebody said to me the other day that my friends know about it, and I'm like, how? I don't know how they know about it, because like we haven't yet done a lot of advertising on opening days and stuff. So I'm like, oh, I don't know how you know about it, but that's great. That's fantastic. And that's how small Canberra is. You know, like everyone knows everyone. And I think this cheese store is going to be great for Canberra.
Well, I'm so pleased that this is an opportunity for you to get back into the food space. What do you love about what you do? I've always loved food from a young age, and it's not just I love food, you know, I love eating it. It's the flavors that come out and, you know, just how you can put things together. So coming back into the hospitality industry on the food and cooking side of things is going to be a lot of fun. Well, Kaitlyn, look forward to seeing what you do with the Cheeserie. It's been an honour to have you on Deep in the Weeds today. Please keep in touch and we'll catch up again soon.
Thank you.
This is the Deep in the Weeds podcast. I'm Anthony Huckstep. Stay tuned as we take a deep dive into the lives of the incredible people who ply their trade in the food and hospitality sector. Special thanks to executive producer Rob Locke for making this all happen. Follow us on Instagram at Deep in the Weeds Podcast or email us at podcast@deepintheweeds.com.au. Stay safe and be well.